Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's Friday as well. We'll get started here, as always, in a couple minutes. While you wait, go ahead and fill out the form so you can be entered to win. We're gonna do another mystery giveaway. I like the mystery giveaways because then I don't have to page through a whole bunch of photos to find the one that I'm trying to look for. So where's it at? Here we go. Well, we'll probably be around, Blake. I don't know how long this one will be. Hopefully it's not going to be super long. I got a lot of stuff that I still need to do before taking off for the day. My chair is really squeaky. I will try to not squeak as much. I'm going to have to sit real still. I don't want to say I don't have a lot to go over. There's a couple of things I'm going to show off. A couple Karaspenko products we got coming up that I'm going to show off. A couple everyday Karas products to show off. Talk a little bit about the website and what's still in the works, and then kind of give an update on all of that. But that's kind of everything. It's not going to be super in-depth today. This is kind of out of the blue. As I said, like in the email, I'd shifted, because we did so many of the live streams later in the month, I'd kind of shifted them all for the rest of the year or later in the month, but I'm going to be out of town next week, next Friday. So, and I forgot about it. So this is kind of where we're at now. So, hey everybody, welcome. It is officially the June live stream. I know it's crazy to think that we're already basically more than halfway through June, which is insane to me, because it feels like we just wrapped up 2025. This year is going by way too fast. So we're going to jump right in. I'm going to go ahead and switch this. Actually, let's switch. I'll show off some upcoming Karaspenko products. Then I'll go into kind of like a new website overview type of thing. So let's do a little switch. All right. So, because this will kind of segue into the website and kind of some updates and different things. So these are two upcoming releases that we're going to see on the site. The Vertex and Commando. Let me turn this on. See if this shows off. Not really much of a difference, but okay. So we got the Commando Bolt Distress series. So we've released a couple different pens in this series. We started with an Everyday Karas basic in this colorway, and then it was like, oh, that's really, really cool. Let's do some other pens. What did we do? What else did we do? And then I think we just did a modal. Yeah, I think we did the Dragon Skin modal. But I had some of these heavy distressed bolts, and so we went ahead and sent these out, and these came back and they look stunning. Like, this is kind of like, I just grabbed one at random. This is a really good one, but they're all look really, really cool. I'm a big fan of this color, this distressed color on the kind of heavy, hand worn, like big chunks out of the pen. I think it looks great on the bolt. So we're going to have, I don't know, probably, I think we got like 20-ish, 25 of those, but not a lot. There's not a lot because I'm kind of at the end of all of having any bolts. That's kind of where that is. And then I'll go into the bolts a little bit later when we do a website. We've had this material for a long time. So this is another European. I'm just gonna rotate this around because it's a really, really super, super cool material. Like, this material is awesome. Like, it showed up and in the raw form, it just looked like blah. Like, let's see, I think I have some. Here's a piece of what that looked like. So it's kind of like blah. Like, yeah, it looks okay. Like, this is kind of orange, and then but this is kind of like, well, I have no idea what that's gonna look like. You know, it kind of looks cool, but you never know what it's gonna machine like. Well, it machined awesome. It looks absolutely stunning. Like, I don't even know what it is. It's kind of wood grain, kind of orange. It's got some light shimmer to it throughout. We're calling it petrified forest, petrified wood, petrified something. Like, there's a big petrified forest in Arizona, and some of the pieces, when you used to be able to, there wasn't a lot of regulation around people taking pieces of it out. Now you can't unless you sell it, which there's a bunch of people that do that. My mom grew up, they used to have a cabin up there, and her parents, her dad did, he built a cabin up a couple 15, 20 miles away from the petrified forest. And so they'd go as kids and go through there. And so she has a lot of petrified wood from her time up there in like the 50s. So this kind of reminded me of that type of thing. So looks really cool. Looks crazy awesome with the orange grip. Looks great with the brown grip. Just a super cool, like, resin that I didn't think would look as cool as it did, but it looks really good. No, it's actually resin. It's crazy that it's not wood. It looks like wood. It absolutely 100% looks like wood. It's not. It's, I don't know. I'm going to have to page through the receipt when we got this batch to try to figure out which one this is, which product this is, to see what manufacturer this came from. I know we got a bunch of Aeranoid, which is custom stuff that Turner's Workshop has made for them. But then we also got, I think, 1 or 2 last pieces of Omas material, and then maybe some Conway Stewart stuff. I don't know which manufacturer made this, and whether it's a newer resin or if it's an older resin that they got from that Vince got from one of the manufacturers that went out of business. I'm not sure. I'll have to look through, and hopefully I'll be able to figure it out. If not, and all bets are off. But it is probably something of higher quality. We can usually tell on stuff that's from one of the older manufacturers from Italy, because of the way it machines. The Italian resins that we've gotten from Omas or Delta just look machine significantly easier and look a lot better. And this did that. We didn't have hardly any loss during the machining process on this. And a lot of times some of the other manufacturers, there'll be voids in the material, or it'll just chip out really easy. And so the cap lips, we'll have to scrap a bunch of the caps because the cap lips will be cracked. So I'm going to guess that this is probably not vintage acrylic, but older, from like early 2000s, early to mid 2000s, probably from an Italian, either Omas or maybe Delta, or one of the companies that went out of business and then has since been revived, resurrected, whatever term you want to go with. So these two are upcoming probably after the July 4th break, because I have releases planned out like from now through that. And these just came back. Well, the Cerakote just came back, and the Vertexes just got finished, polished. Like the first batch of those got finished polished. So probably mid-July on these. And the only reason I'm not showing off any of this, well, I will show off a few things that we have between now and then. But the only reason I'm not really showing off a lot of the stuff between I have right now and our July 4th break is I don't have them. I don't have them in stock. I don't have them in the shop. They're a couple different Cerakote releases. We planned out a 250th release, kind of like most manufacturers have. We planned it out with Aaron at Area 15. He's working on the pens right now. He's working on the first batch of pens, and we're going to, as soon as we get them back, shoot them, put them up for pre-sale, and then we're going to pre-sell them because we're not going to have them all done. There's just no way for us to have them all done between the work that we put into them. We're going to do a bolt and a modal, a bolt and a basic. The basic is going to be basically a 000. It's going to be the completely smooth, no machining on that basic. So it's just gonna, I don't have one here. It's going to basically be a very light texture on it, but it's going to be a completely smooth, same profile. Basically, we're calling the 000 the canvas, the basic canvas. And then we had always planned for when we started talking about doing a 250th anniversary pen. I just bit my tongue. Oh my God, that hurts so bad. Sorry. We'd always planned on it being an ink or a bolt. The problem with that is we've been out of stock on bolts. Like all the bolt releases that we've had for the past 6 months have been just kind of the last random stuff that we have banging around in the bins. I've been out of bolt uppers like for a while, so we were just kind of salvaging. Like, hey, can we fix this? A lot of them were stuff that we had to remachine to get the threads correct or all that stuff. So got the bolts done. Josh got the bolts done a couple weeks ago. We've been tumbling them and getting them ready, and then got sent out to anodize because they need to be anodized first before we can paint them. So I got them back from anodize and immediately sent the first 5 or so to Aaron so he could paint them, so we can get them back and shoot them and put them on the website. I think they're going to look really cool. They're going to be really, really awesome. They're going to be similar designs on the basic and the bolt. The bolt is going to be a much more in-depth paint job, with several layers of paint on it, and we'll have a price point that reflects that. And then the basic is going to be a much more basic version of that. It's going to have a similar paint job on it, but we're going to utilize laser etching to basically speed the process of where we would, and the bolts are going to be painted white. They're going to have a third coat of paint, white, put on them. Whereas with the basic, we're going to use the laser to etch away the paint that we're getting done to, like, because we can etch the Cerakote off and to have the white reveal. So going to be really cool. I think it's going to be like I'm hoping it's going to be popular. Like when we've done stuff like this in the past, the few that we've done that have been like this, like they've been pretty popular. But we wanted to kind of have two different price points. And like I said, we're going to pre-sell them so that we don't overmake them or undermake them, so everybody has a chance to buy them. In the past, I feel like on some of the big releases that have sold out really fast, we haven't planned adequately. We're like, okay, we'll probably sell 50 of these, and then it was like, okay, well, we probably could have sold 100 of them. And then when we do stuff like the tactical turkey one, we're like, well, this is the first time we've done this pen in all black. We could probably sell, I think we did 250 of those, and they hung around for a long time. So you never know what's going to sell or how much of something is going to sell. So, yeah, that will look really good with the brass grip. Sorry guys, I got derailed. So with the bolt coming back in stock, the whole goal over the next like 4 or 5 months is kind of to bring product back standard product back in stock. So we've been out of stock of standard bolts for probably over a year now. So we're in the process of, I've sent out bolts for anodize. They're doing modals right now, so we're going to send out standard modals. After that, we're going to move right into, I believe next on the list are the inks. Well, pocket modals too. Modals, pocket modals. We'll all go out, so we're going to have standard of those back in hopefully mid to late July. After that, we're going to do inks, so we can bring inks back in stock, because we're out of stock on a lot of our standard product, which we've gotten a lot of pushback on. You guys have changed, like you're not you don't have regular product that we can purchase. It's all just special releases, and they're all more expensive. And it wasn't ever our goal to get away from having standard product. It's just part of what kind of it's always happened ever since I've worked here. I've worked here for 11 years now, and it's always been a struggle to plan like correctly to have all of our product in stock. And with us, with a lot of the fluctuations that we've had over the past 24 months with maintaining a website, the changes in the supply chains with raw material, launching the second brand, which we had to do. Like, Everyday Keras isn't like this massive like moneymaker, but it is supplemental to the point where it is definitely allowing us to have a product that people can purchase to get into pens, and will hopefully lead to a new customer, like a revitalized customer base. Like everybody here, a lot of you that are here have been long-term fans of our company, or just long-term pen collectors in general. But we need to have diversity in our product catalog, and so taking a chance on developing the basic and the compact, and hopefully a couple more pens, some capped pens, like a fountain pen that kind of fits into that vein, will allow us, I don't want to say keep the lights on, but it's definitely allowing us to offset losses of a customer of ours that is no longer purchasing product at the Keras Pen Co. level. Whether that's just because they've gotten out of the hobby, or whether they are unable to participate in pen collecting anymore. It's just like, I don't know. Like I couldn't tell you. I think it's a combination of all those things. But because we've done all those things, because we've invested in Everyday Keras, and we've taken on some other job shop work, our standard product, like the bolt, like the modal, like the ink, aluminum vertexes, decagraphs, we're out of stock on all those. Like I don't have any brass bolts. Brass bolts are probably our best-selling pen over the 14 years we've had that pen. 12 years we've had that pen. However many years we've had that pen. That pen is our bestseller, hands down. We're out of stock right now. So I'm waiting for them to get those done so I can add them back to the site. It is not our goal to solely be a, limited release type of company. Now, we've done a lot of that stuff because that's the way the entire market has gone. Like if you are in any of the fountain pen groups, any of the everyday carry groups, any other hobbies that are similar to this, that's just the way that it is. It was the way it was starting to be that way in 2015 when I came on board. And the only reason that I know that is because the first meeting that I had with Bill after I was hired, I said to Bill, we need to start doing special release and limited release products. And Bill and Dan, when he was still here, looked at me and said, we're never going to do that. And they basically like put that out of your mind. It's never going to happen. But the whole industry is like that now. So we're not shifting to that. We're bringing back standard product. So it's going to be smaller. We're only bringing back 4 or 5 colors of the bolts, just our most popular colors. We're not going to bring back purple. The violet will not be a standard color. It will be a release that we do once a year, and we'll probably do some riffs on it. We'll probably develop some custom larger releases that are custom colorways that use violet or shades of purple. Orange is going to be the same thing, largely because it is nearly impossible for us to find quality orange anodize at a price that we can afford to pay. Like if I were to get orange anodize right now, it would cost almost as much per pen as it costs for us to have Cerakote put on a pen, orange Cerakote, which is ridiculous. But that's just the nature of nobody here locally does orange. We'd have to send it to either Utah or Oregon, Texas or Washington to get it done, or California. But California would make it cost more than Cerakote. So some colors are going to have to go away temporarily and just be back for special releases when I haven't enough. Like if we have all of the color, like we have like 600 pens to do an orange, I can send out a batch of like 500 or 600 pens, but I'd have to have all those pens at the same time ready to go. Because the way that you do anodize, it's all in a big batch, and so it's per piece. And if the lot charge is, $500, that's over all those pens. So if I send out 100 pens and the lot charge is $500, the minimum is $500, and it's, that's $5 a pen plus, the per piece fee. If I send out 500 pens, that's $1 per pen plus the per piece fee. So it's just gotten it has gotten more expensive. Like our cost in anodize has gone up a lot, like surprisingly a lot. That was probably the biggest surprise. Well, the increase in copper over the last 6 months, 9 months, what is shocking, quite frankly. But after that, the increase in cost for anodize, locally, I think the cost has tripled in the last, I don't even know, it hasn't even been that long, maybe 15 months, 16 months, a year and a half. The cost has tripled, which is crazy, insane that it's gone up that much. And I'm not sure why they've raised their prices. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're they've had to raise their prices on they've had to pay their employees more, because it used to be that it's an entry level job, but the Arizona has increased minimum wage significantly over the last 2 to 3 years, and I think it's going to go up again. So I think they've had to pay their employees more, and I think there's been some implementation of new regulations that have raised their costs, and the cost of things it's just gone up. Inflation has just gone up, and so they've raised their prices. But we didn't expect it to go up to triple. It's gone up from where it was used to be I don't know, 60 cents a piece per piece, and the lot charge was $200, and now it's the lot charge is $300 to $500 depending on the color, and the piece price has gone up from 60 cents to almost over $2 for some colors. So it's pretty crazy. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at. We're in the process of getting all of our standard products back in. So we're going to have black bolts back in stock. They're going to be the standard version with the silver clip and the silver clicker. We're going to bring back motos. We're going to bring back standard inks. We're going to have probably 4 to 5 standard colors. So black, blue, red, gray, and maybe olive. Olive is really dependent on whether or not they can provide us with good olive. We'd like to keep that one in stock. It just really depends on whether or not they screw them all up. If we get them back, great, then we're going to keep it in stock. If the anodized looks like trash, probably not going to be something we see standard colors. So the colors that are going to go away are going to be green, orange, violet. Those will move to smaller, yearly, we'll release a few of those colors every single year when we can do something special in terms of anodized colors in those. Teal, if we get some teal anodized in, stuff like that. Gold, brown. But we are going to get all of our product back in stock. So if you're waiting for that stuff, we're going to bring it back in. So that's kind of website update number 1. The launch went really well. We had some hiccups with the free shipping. I've changed the rules about how the free shipping works in order to get it to function correctly, because it's supposed to function on purchases that are over $50 for this website. But it wasn't working for accessories over $50 because those were in a different category. Accessories were exempt because most of those are less than $50, but if you bundled them, it's just all conditional. So then I made it a coupon code, and then it wasn't applying with it wasn't, if you were using another coupon code, it invalidated the shipping coupon code. So then I had to go through and fiddle with all that stuff. So all that stuff's still in the works in terms of making sure that the free shipping is still something that happens. Free shipping should only be excluded on products that are on purchases under $50, or on, once we have them available, on the cubes, mega cubes, and the rectangles, and the new 48 hole cube. If we cannot figure out how to sell those with that free shipping excluded, then we're going to have to basically build the shipping cost into the price of those products, and they will increase that much. But I'm hoping not to have to do that. Learning how to do this complicated, it's not complicated. Learning how to do this stuff on Shopify is different than it was for WooCommerce. I don't have as much control over it, so it's a little bit of a learning curve for me. Otherwise, I think, this is my personal opinion, I think the new website is functioning a lot better, gives a better user experience. You're better able to tell products that are in stock versus out of stock. You're able to sign up to be notified when a product comes back in stock if it's currently out of stock. There's a lot of products that aren't listed on the site right now because I don't have new photos of them. We're going to reshoot all that stuff for those standard products, but I haven't had a lot of negative feedback specific to the website not functioning properly. All of the negative feedback that I've gotten on the site is just that you guys are out of stock on stuff that I want to buy, which I completely understand. We're working towards fixing that. Or my coupon code didn't work, which I'm still working through that. Or there are some people that have had issues using rewards points. And I still have not been able to figure out why those few individuals ran out of those issues. Otherwise, all the feedback that I've received has largely been positive. If you have had a negative experience besides one of the ones that I just listed, I would like to hear it. So you can email me that. You can feel free to write a bad review if you want. Like, we've gotten a couple of those, which is kind of the reason why I'm talking about this. Having said all that, if you have like quick stuff you want to put in the chat about the new website, you know, anything that you don't want to write on a long form, you can go ahead and throw it in there. But that kind of like wraps up like the new website stuff. Work is going to be continuing on it. Like, I've updated like almost all of the current products lookbooks. Some people were like, a bunch of these don't work. They're a work in progress. I'm working on that page. There's a lot of pages that I'm still working on. There's going to be more pages that are going to be added. We're gonna add a KVC page that's going to be static, so you guys can basically leave that up. Purchases will be made off that page. You'll get points for that. The only other large piece of website related news is over the next 2 to 3 months, changes are going to be made into shipping. Just because we're going to have to scale way back from shipping with FedEx because their rates have gone to the point where we have to use them a lot less. Or the shipping that we offer through FedEx is all going to be upgraded. So you'll have the option to use FedEx. It will all be like basically like you can upgrade for a certain price point. We don't do it on volume with FedEx anymore, so they've removed our rep. They've removed all of our rate reductions, and they've increased their prices significantly to offset fuel costs. So our fuel, there's mileage and fuel costs that we have in all of our shipments that are bundled in. So in order to maintain free shipping, we're going to have to shift a lot of that to the mail, which we've already done. And their rates are going up too. It's just part of what's happening. So, but that's going to be one thing that we're going to move to. So basically, used to be that if you purchased something that it was over, I think $120, if you spent over $120, we would a lot of times just upgrade your shipping. We'd ship it out FedEx on our dime. That's going to shift. That's going to change. It's probably going to we'll do that on orders over a certain number of pens, over a certain weight. So if your total volume is over 1 pound of pens, we'll automatically move that to FedEx or over a certain price point. Unless you're shipping to a PO box, then we have to ship it in the mail. So those changes are going to be coming. We're working through that over the summer, and unless we can find another shipping method, most of our shipments will move to USPS. We'll have a lot less shipments via FedEx One rate. They'll still be available to like add that on as an upgrade. The other main thing is that we're going to move dramatically away from like advertised hosted discount codes. So like there'll be the sign up one, which will be a one-time coupon code that you can use when you sign up for the newsletter. We'll do 2 to 3 coupon codes throughout the year. There'll be potentially a few others that we'll have, but they'll also be significantly reduced percentage-wise. So we're going to standardize 10% coupon codes as being like the main coupon code. And we're going to move more people into, like, we're trying to incentivize the rewards program as much as possible. So the point system is going to be adjusted so that you're going to get more discounts for fewer points. It's already like, we've already added a couple. Like we started just with the one like $5 off coupon code. Now I think there's a $12 coupon code, a $25 coupon code off, and we're going to add more. And then we're going to adjust them down so that fewer points get you better purchases. There'll be more ways for that to be the way that you accrue points. If you're going to spend money here anywhere, we're going to give you more discounts, as opposed like to more discounts that are just out there floating around in the ether, which will allow us to be more flexible with like the free shipping stuff and all that stuff. So that's kind of going to be the way that we go in terms of discount codes. We're just not going to have as many of them just randomly available. We're also going to we're going to probably add on some marketplaces where we sell products that have their own built-in discount codes. So that'll be something that we roll out, and we'll announce that later down the road. But like, I don't know if we're going to sell on Amazon or not. That's always, but like adding in like Google, selling on Google and Facebook and all that stuff. But like, if you're like me, like a veteran, I purchase product off GovX, govx.com. It's a huge marketplace. One of the things as a seller that you have to do is you add a specific coupon code for them that when they log in, they get. It's like a veterans coupon code. And so instead of just having a veterans coupon code, we'll just have the GovX like purchase point on our website. It will also be on their website. Whichever pens we sell on there will be listed on there. And then if you're a member of that, it's not just for government. It's like firefighters, first responders, all that stuff. You have to be verified through that program, and then you basically log in and process your payment and everything like that. So we're going to add some of those things so that people aren't just like, hey, do you have this coupon code? You'll know ahead of time, like, oh yeah, they have it. It's through this organization, through this organization, or through this like marketplace. So those are some of the changes that we're going to implement in the short term. All right, so that's kind of the website update. Let's kind of move along. As always, if you've been here for a long time, you know that I am long-winded. All right, we're going to go back to. So here we have some of the upcoming releases for Everyday Keras, and I'll talk about the basic 000. So the basic 000 is going to launch with the 250th, with our 250th anniversary for like the U.S. birthday, whatever. I don't want to say whatever. That makes it sound like I'm being reductive. Like we made plans last year to do some special releases for the 250th U.S. anniversary, like a lot of different companies have. Like I know Monteverdi released their pen. A bunch of them have already released their pens. Ours has been put on hold because the pens that we had for those have not been done until last week. So the 000 will be the first version. The basic 000 will be the first release with that pre-order that we hope to have live. I'm hoping that we have it at the end of next week. Fingers crossed. Aaron's really fast with his paints. Hopefully that's what happens. We'll have a small amount of those available raw that will go up on the site as like a small release. We don't plan to keep the 000 in stock. It's just going to be something that we have once or twice a year. It's mainly going to be featured on special releases like the 250th. These are the 3 next releases that we have planned for Everyday Keras website. We've got obviously the Jawbreaker, and this is the Jawbreaker 001, and this is the Jawbreaker I believe that is the 4. So those 2 are going to be the next 2 Cerakote releases that we do of the basic. We got a lot of people that wanted us to do more ones, and so I had some set aside, and I decided to do them in this color. Jawbreakers, we haven't done a basic in the Jawbreaker. Everybody loves the Jawbreaker. I like the Jawbreaker color. It's really cool. So this is just an opportunity to do this pen in that. This, if you did not purchase the compact subscription, this is the compact 002. Looks kind of similar to the 001. It's a little bit, this in my opinion is much more like we actually designed this. This design is actually a design that Josh made for this pen that we didn't end up using. And so he put it on this pen. This to me looks much more like a mini basic. This looks like a different pen. And a much more of our compacts are going to have this look as opposed to looking like a blending of the 2. So this is going to come out in mid-July. We have the compact 001 up now. This will come out in mid-July. We're also going to be adding some additional Parker style refills. Right now we just in the compacts just sell those with an easy flow. But we're adding Monteverdi gel, fine and extra fine options that will be available on both our archives and on the basics. So I should have those hopefully sometime next week, and they'll be added. We've got a lot of feedback from people that really want us to offer a gel option for the compact pens. Like a lot of people are like, I don't use ballpoint pens. It needs to be a gel refill. Why don't you have some of the options for gel Parker refills? They're out there. And so we went ahead and contacted Monteverdi. We're getting the Monteverdi refills for the compact, and we'll offer them as an option on the archives as well. So you'll have options to buy them on Everyday Keras pens and on compact pens. Hopefully that opens up the compact to a lot of other people. I know a ballpoint pen is not for everybody. I carry both. Like I prefer using a roller ball whenever possible, but there are certain times where a roller ball just is not going to write on whatever I have available to me to write on. Like if I'm like nine times out of 10, I'll be somewhere and I'll need to write a note, write my email address or my phone number, because I'm out of business cards, and all I have on me is my rollerball pen. And somebody will be like, oh, here, just write it on my business card. Well, that rollerball pen is not going to write on there, but a ballpoint is going to write on there. And so if I don't carry a ballpoint as well, like, it's just not happening. Now, can I text that person? Absolutely. But, you know, there's a reason to have a ballpoint and to have a rollerball. I understand that ballpoints traditionally, especially oil-based ink ballpoints, don't write as nicely as gel pens do. But there is definitely a use case for a rollerball or for a ballpoint. But we've gotten a lot of people that are just frustrated with us releasing ballpoint pens. Like, I'm never going to buy that pen because it has a ballpoint in it. Okay, well, we offer a lot of other pens that you can purchase. Like, there are people that use ballpoints. So, and then there are enough of them that we think it's a viable product to offer. So that's kind of where we're at, why we have these two pens. And the other reason that we did not, okay, just one last time. The other reason we did not offer this pen in a ballpoint version is that the number one complaint we get with our pens that have conversion kits that allow you to use either a rollerball or a ballpoint is the refill inside it moves around too much. There's tip wiggle and it rattles and it drives me crazy. Unless your Big ID Design or that new company that I cannot remember the name of that's using a collet system to hold the refill by the tip, you're going to have lateral refill movement, aka tip wiggle. There's going to be we can't make our pens precise enough that allow for the conversion kits. When we make two different pens that are purpose built for those refills, it allows for a lot more of finer tolerances. It allows to hold the refill in there, allows us to use the custom springs the way that they're meant to. So that's why we did not do that with this, because we knew that if we did the basic and allowed for a whole bunch of refills to be used in this natively, that that people would be like, this $29 piece of crap pen, I put this other refill in it and it just rattles around and I can't even use it. So we went ahead and made this pen for ballpoints and this pen for roller balls for that reason. This pen has a metal refill in it. I can shake this pen in. You can hear it because I'm not holding like. You can't. I'm shaking this as hard as I can, and you can't hear the refill rattle around in there. So, there we go. That's kind of like the thing the last time. On that one, like, if I had my druthers, I'm not sure that we would have this pen as an option. I think I would have gone for something completely different. But the amount of people that asked us for a ballpoint version of a $29 ballpoint version made us go in this direction. So, yeah, let me read through some of your comments and then we'll move on to the next section. The Oto, yes, and buying the Otos in bulk is not an option, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would have pursued something like that. Enzo, they have one, but there's a brand new pen that I think just launched. It might be on Kickstarter right now. I have 10 basics and I've got Energy Jetstream, or is there? I mean, if I'm sure that like the basics can be like hacked with a lot of different stuff. Part of the reason that that one works a little bit better than the bolt and the modal is in making it unibody, it allowed us to simplify a lot of the machining in that tightens up the tolerances that allow for that cause the rattling with our 2-piece pen bodies. So making it a single piece body. Now you can't fit a PD-126 in either the basic or the compact, but tightening that inner diameter makes for a much more, reduces the noise that of any refill that you put in there dramatically. The difference in diameter for the PD-126 and even the G2 is enough that when you put in a Parker refill, there's a lot of movement on that Parker refill. And because the Parker refill is tapered and has the shape that it does, it rattles a lot in those pens. So yeah, I understand the feedback on, oh, my pen, it rattles. Like, it doesn't bother me, but I'm sure that there are people that have, you know, sensory issues that would bother. I get it. I understand. I'm not like blind to that issue that people have with the pen wiggling too much or rattling around. What would you go with instead of this ballpoint version? I probably would have not had a pen that I probably would have done something. I would have liked for us to do not this style of pen that was just a smaller, like a smaller basic for all intents and purposes. I would not have had the compact be this. I would have had the compact be I'm trying to think how to best describe it without like saying another pen brand, but like have it be something like a Parker, a little bit skinnier. Like we get people that ask us if we could make a pen with a skinnier diameter, and so I would have maybe gone with something that is slimmer, sleeker, and potentially had a slightly different mechanism, something that was a little bit more, that we could still keep the price low on, but was a little bit more, I don't want to say refined, but for lack of a better term, refined. Something that felt like the old style Parker jotters, like maybe that we like put a little bit of a different like mechanism on the top. We've developed our own maybe like twist mechanism that's like, I don't know. Just, it would have been a little bit different than this. It would not have just been just a straight up like, let's just do a smaller version of the basic. But doing a smaller version of the basic when we did a basic that was the same dimensions as the basic looked really weird. So doing the different like shapes and sizes on the compact made the pen look a little bit better. So we'll see how it goes. Modified Uniball Zento with a 3D printed end cap and it works. Yeah, I mean, that's the nice thing about 3D printing stuff. Like if you have a 3D printer, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff to make them work a lot better. Making 3D printed sleeves that fit the pen, that make it that fit the refill, that basically will allow you to like put a sleeve around this to make it fit better inside of our pens or anybody's pens. That is something that you can do, Nicolay, I have told people frequently is stretch the spring a little bit. Give not a lot, because you don't need to go a lot. What bugs me more than refills rattling are refills that don't extend very far out of the tip. That's true, and we've fought that for a long time. We fought that a long time. The tip extending as far as people want, like I think these extend. I don't even know. That's not gonna work. Let's switch back over here. Like I think these extend relatively. Let's do a little zoom here. There we go. So the bottom one is an easy flow. The top one is a Monobirdie extra fine gel refill. I think both of these extend quite nice. They look really good. I'm not sold on this refill. Like, I think it's too scratchy for me. I like the fine one better. I don't have a fine one here. But a lot of people like that extra fine tip with the gel refill in a ballpoint pen. But I understand people that are like, oh, certain pens don't extend far enough. Like a lot of people have that criticism about the EDK with the 8126. And there wasn't really that much that we could do with that. Like it had to be that, so. Cage match between the Archive and the Compact. Two totally different pens. Maybe it's just the fact that the Archive is a brand new pen, but I really like the Archive. The Archive to me is the coolest pen that we've released since the Vertex. And I say that as somebody who had almost zero input into the Archive outside of it we need to get with Fisher Space Pen. And I understand not everybody's a fan of those refills, but there are enough people that are. I mean, 75% of them that we sell with that refill. So I think the Archive is the coolest. There's something about the shape of it, the size of it. And like I said, Josh, this is a Josh total thing. Like he was like messing around with different designs, different shapes, different sizes, the whole 9 yards. And the only feedback that I gave him was, I think the pen needs to be more like aerodynamic looking. Like it needs to be sleek. It needs to be like cool looking. Like, and I think he kind of captured that. Like it feels really cool. It's, for me, the smallest size that I would want in a pen that I'm going to use. It's the only pen that I carry besides the Basic now. Like I swapped my Moto for a Basic, and then I swapped my Pocket Moto for an Archive. And I just have, and those are the two pens that I carry around. That's not true. Those are the pens that I carry around for my personal use. I have a binder full of Basics in that I carry around with me. So, all right, let's see. Let's go back through. I think the Sarasa will fit in. There's a Zebra refill that will fit inside the Basic. I'm not sure which one it is. I really like that pen too. I think it has really good like ink in it. I think the ink in it is like, I don't know what ink composition they use, but I think it's really nice. It's the same with the Sharpie refill. The Sharpie refill is a nice gives Pilot a nice run for their money. Let's see. Yeah, and we've considered carrying 1.0 refills in the past. In fact, we did for a short period of time. They just went bad before we sold through them. Otherwise, we would still carry them. I like a 1.0. If I could get a 1.0 and a really good ballpoint, I would probably use that, because a ballpoint refill in a 1.0 is a really smooth writing experience. It's why the Bic Crystal is as good as it is because that standard 1.0 Bic refill, ballpoint refill, is smooth like melted butter on a fresh hot pancake. Okay, that's kind of where we're at with everything. I don't really have anything else to show off. If you have not completed the sign-up sheet at the top of the page, please do that so that you, or the pinned comment, wherever it is. I don't know if it shows at the top or the bottom. The pinned comment takes you to the Google form. Sign up to be entered to win. We're going to give away some mystery pins again. I've got some new mystery pins. They're not the same as the mystery pins that we gave away last time. These are new mystery pins. So fill that out. If you have any questions or comments or whatever, throw them in there. If you're part of the pen club, we've got 2 new upcoming archive pen club exclusives that are in the works that you will have access to. One of them will be in July. One of them is probably not going to happen until August. But we took your feedback form and we sourced the top 2 colors that everybody was like, these are the ones that we want. So that's coming. Any reason why the archive fill pen is now being made with matte finishes? So 2 reasons why. The first reason is the archive is the successor to the EDK. And the EDK was always meant to primarily be released in matte finishes and not in gloss finishes. And that's kind of the same thing that we're going with the archive. We're going to have some, we're not going to completely get rid of gloss finishes for that pen. They're just only going to be used kind of, I think they were going to add one that's a standard version for that pen. I haven't decided which color. It really depends on the sort, like where I can source quality anodized from, because everybody does it differently. But we'll offer gloss finishes in like limited and special releases. And the other thing is we're still working on the successor for the Retract, and it's not going to look the same as the archive does. But that pen will be available primarily in gloss finishes. We're going to be testing. I guess this is going to be like coming out like anyway. We're going to be testing, A/B testing standard product releases, like production releases that are anodized in either or. So I plan on getting the bolts and the modals done and offering them in both gloss and matte finishes in like select colors, and we're just going to kind of monitor how they sell. So that's kind of like, the gloss stuff has always sold better when it's production on a lot of pens, as opposed to like the matte stuff. The matte finishes traditionally don't sell better as a production, but we want to, but the idea behind having a pen that you potentially use in a situation where like your hands are slippery or whatever, like the whole like kind of the built-in marketing behind the archive, like it may seem cheesy, but like a filled pen should be less shiny. So like that's kind of part of the reason why too. So glossy red filled pen, please. Well, the red one we have now is the red one we're going to have for a while. The next red filled pen we have is probably going to be a Cerakote, not an anodized. So no copper, Adam. So that's a good question, and I can tell you right now. I sat down with Bill literally yesterday, and copper is still. I don't know. $1,100 in copper is right now $2,700. Like $1,100 in copper as of January is now $2,700. The exact same copper, the exact same size, the exact same source is now $2,700 for the exact same amount of copper rod. So copper prices have not come down. We are not going to stop making copper pens, and we're going to continue to make copper bolts, copper inks. And as of yesterday, we are not going to raise our prices on our copper pens. Or if we do, they're going to not be raised in the amount that as much as the increase in the raw material would be. If we raise them, it will be a small amount rather than as much as it would cost us to offset the increase in the material cost. So we'll shrink our margin on those pens as much as we possibly can before raising our price on copper pens. Now, will we do cheaper, we will not be doing any more basics this year unless the price comes down in the fall. Probably won't be doing copper archives between now and the end of the year. The only pens that we will probably have in copper are going to be bolts, inks, maybe vertexes. So I have no copper compacts. We won't have copper everyday Keras pens until pricing comes down. Like if we were to sell the copper basic 001 on its own, we'd need to sell it for as much as we sell. Like we need to sell that copper pen for $75 probably to make the same margin that we make on the brass and the aluminum pens. So unfortunately, the cost is it's brutal. It is absolutely brutal when it comes to that, when it comes to copper pens right now. And unfortunately, brass is trending in that direction too. But the best thing about brass is we have the least amount of loss in a brass pen. So product loss in brass is exponentially smaller than it is in aluminum or in copper. Our copper loss is more than either of those. Well, copper loss and aluminum loss is about the same because of so much of our loss from outside process with anodize it contributes to that. But one of the things that we have now that we have a really good relationship with Aaron, we can salvage, 50 to 60% of our anodize loss by painting them. So, all right. Copper vertexes, that is a maybe. It's really just dependent on us sitting down and kind of going, okay, how much is this pen going to cost? Can we make it, and will enough people buy it for us to do that first initial run? Because like the current price on a on a brass vertex is $165. And we really need, that pen really needs to be $180. Like if we were to make those right now, that pen would have to be $180. And the price on copper vertexes, gosh, I'm gonna guess that we'd have to charge $225 at the low end for a copper vertex, probably maybe closer to $250. So it's just kind of one of those things, like when we sit down and run the numbers, if we sit there and are like, yes, we can, we think it will be, that'll be an option. Like we think enough people would jump in on buying a copper vertex. Then we would go ahead and put the time and the effort into doing that. I don't want to say it's out of the realm of possibilities, but it's out of the realm of possibilities for basics and compacts right now. Now we're going to do brass compacts. We've already decided that we're going to do brass compacts. We're just going to bite the bullet right now before brass increases dramatically. We're going to bite the bullet and buy the brass. Whatever price it is now, we're going to buy it. So we're going to have those at some point. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Some point in the fall, we will have brass compacts. But until pricing comes down on copper, we're not going to have copper basics or compacts. Probably not going to have copper archives. I'm not 100% certain on copper modals and pocket modals. But we will have copper bolts and copper inks and potentially copper basics. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the giveaway. So how many people, how many winners? 3? Did we say 3? I think we said 3. Let's do the winners. Here we go. Wait, I grabbed the wrong thing. Oh my gosh. Oops. Let me go back in there. I hope if I get the correct line item. Doesn't really help if I do the date. There we go. Boom. And all right, winner time. Here we go. Jay Nichols, 13, Jeremy, and Dave Isn't Funny. Those are our 3 winners. Congratulations, Jay Nichols, Jeremy, and Dave Isn't Funny. Send an email with your shipping information to paul@KarisCustoms.com, and I can get you guys your mystery pin sent out next week. That's kind of everything that I have to go over. I've talked for way longer than I expected to, but that's just the nature of me being me. If you guys have questions as we kind of wrap things up, go ahead and toss them in there in the chat. If not, you can always send them to me afterwards. Anybody have any last minute questions? I'm going to get a drink. Questions, concerns, complaints, criticisms. No, I don't want to do that. There we go. All right. Since nobody has put in a question in there or anything like that, thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully I answered your questions and didn't bring up any more concerns. If not, you can always email me or put a comment down below or any other way that you've potentially contacted me in the past. Have a good weekend. Have a good happy Father's Day. Next week is going to be a really busy week. We have, just so you're aware, the Jawbreaker stuff is going to be hitting the site next week. And hopefully the fingers crossed, the 250th pre-order for both the Bolt and the Basic will hit the end of next week. So the Jawbreaker Basics will hit Everyday Karis Monday or Tuesday, and then if we do the pre-order, it's going to be Friday, if Friday or on the weekend. So that's kind of, next week is going to be pretty busy with all that stuff. Also, if I figure out the shipping, all of the cubes, mega cubes, 21, the rectangles, and the new 48 should be hitting the site next week as well. So that's the last of the last. That's everything I have. So have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day if you're a father. Happy Father's Day to your father if you have a father. Hopefully you still have a father. Otherwise, just enjoy the weekend, be safe, and then we'll see you back here in July. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.